I know something about you. You don't just think, you think about thinking. You replay conversations that happened years ago. You create imaginary arguments in the shower. You plan your future 10 years ahead, and then destroy your own plan by imagining what could go wrong. And the strange part is, people call you intelligent. They say you're smart, you're mature, you think deeply, but nobody tells you the truth. Nobody tells you that sometimes being too intelligent can become a curse. Because while everyone else is sleeping peacefully, your mind is fighting a war that nobody can see. And tonight, I want to ask you a question. What if your greatest strength is secretly becoming your greatest weakness? What if the reason you're stuck isn't because you're lazy, isn't because you're untalented, isn't because you're unlucky, but because you simply think too much? And by the end of this video, you may discover that the biggest enemy in your life has never been the world. It has always been your own mind. Chapter 1. The boy who could never stop thinking. Let me tell you a story. There was a boy, not rich, not poor, just normal. But he had one gift. He could think. He could imagine possibilities nobody else could see. Teachers called him intelligent. Friends called him smart. Family said, "This boy will do something great." But something strange happened. As he grew older, his intelligence didn't make his life easier. It made it harder. When other people made decisions in 5 minutes, he needed 5 days. When others slept peacefully, he stayed awake. When others took action, he kept preparing. And one day, he realized something terrifying. He had spent years preparing for life without actually living it. The saddest part, this story isn't about him. It's about millions of intelligent people. Maybe it's about you. Chapter 2. Why smart people suffer more. If you're intelligent, life becomes more complicated. Because intelligent people don't just see reality, they see possibilities. When an average person enters a room, they see a room. When an intelligent person enters a room, they see what people think of them, what could go wrong, what they should say, what they shouldn't say, what might happen tomorrow, and what happened 5 years ago. This is why intelligent people often suffer from anxiety, loneliness, overthinking, self-doubt, and emotional exhaustion, because their brain never stops working, ever. Chapter 3. Your brain was never designed for happiness. Here's something most people never realize. Your brain was not designed to make you happy. Your brain was designed to keep you alive. Thousands of years ago, if you heard a strange sound in the forest, you had to overthink. Because if you ignored the danger, you died. But here's the problem. Your brain never evolved out of survival mode. Today, there are no lions, no predators, no forests. Yet your brain behaves exactly the same way. Instead of fearing wild animals, you fear rejection, failure, embarrassment, criticism, and uncertainty. And because intelligent people can imagine more possibilities, they experience more fear. Chapter 4. The curse of seeing too much. Imagine two people standing before a bridge. The first person sees a bridge. The second person sees the possibility of falling, the engineering structure, the probability of collapse, the weather conditions, and every possible danger. Who suffers more? The second person. Not because they're weak, but because they see too much. This is the curse of intelligence. The smarter you become, the more uncertainty you discover. And uncertainty creates fear. Chapter 5. Naval Ravikant's most important lesson. Naval Ravikant once said, "The more desires you have, the less happy you become." I think the same thing applies to thoughts. The more thoughts you have, the less peace you have. Because peace isn't created by having more answers. Peace is created by needing fewer answers. Intelligent people often believe, if I think enough, I'll eventually figure everything out. But life doesn't work like that. Some questions have no answers. Some fears never disappear. Some risks must simply be taken. Chapter 6. The Jeff Bezos story. When Jeff Bezos started Amazon, everyone thought he was crazy. Friends laughed. Experts criticized him. People said, the internet is a joke. Imagine if Jeff Bezos had spent his entire life overthinking. Imagine if he waited until he was 100% sure. Amazon would never exist. Success doesn't belong to the smartest people. Success belongs to the people who act despite uncertainty. Chapter 7. The Hidden Addiction. Here's something painful. Overthinking is addictive. Because when you overthink, you feel productive, you feel responsible, you feel intelligent, but you're not moving forward. You're hiding. You aren't solving problems, you're avoiding reality. And that's why so many intelligent people stay stuck for years. Not because they don't know what to do, but because they know too many things. Chapter 8. The 2 a.m. Truth. It's 2 a.m. The room is dark. Everyone else is asleep. But you're awake, thinking about your future, about money, about relationships, about success, about failure, about whether you're wasting your life. And suddenly, you realize something terrifying. The person hurting you isn't your boss. It isn't your family. It isn't society. It's you. You've become both the prisoner and the prison. Chapter 9. Why smart people stay alone. Have you noticed something? Many intelligent people prefer being alone. Not because they hate people, but because their own mind already makes enough noise. Crowds become exhausting. Conversations become repetitive. And slowly, they isolate themselves. But isolation creates more thinking, and more thinking creates more suffering, until one day, they no longer know whether they're protecting themselves or destroying themselves. Chapter 10. The greatest lie intelligent people believe. The biggest lie intelligent people tell themselves is, I'll start when I'm ready. No, you won't. Because readiness doesn't exist. Certainty doesn't exist. Perfection doesn't exist. If you wait until you're ready, you'll spend your entire life waiting. Chapter 11. The story of two men. Two men wanted to become successful. The first man spent 10 years studying success. The second man spent 10 years failing. At the end of those 10 years, who became successful? The man who acted. The man who acted. Because failure teaches faster than thinking. Experience teaches faster than intelligence. Action teaches faster than theory. Chapter 12. The question that changes everything. Imagine yourself at 80 years old. You're sitting alone, looking back at your life, and suddenly someone asks, what was your biggest mistake? Would you say, I failed too much? No. Most people never regret failure. They regret hesitation. They regret fear. They regret overthinking. They regret all the chances they never took. Final conclusion. So if you're watching this video right now, and you think too much, I want you to understand something. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not cursed. You simply forgot one thing. Your mind is a servant, not a master. Your thoughts are tools, not reality. And maybe the reason your life hasn't changed isn't because you need more knowledge. Maybe you need less fear. Because one day, you'll realize that the greatest tragedy wasn't that you failed. The greatest tragedy was that you spent your entire life preparing to live instead of actually living. So tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself one final question. Am I using my intelligence to create my future or to avoid it? And remember, the world is not changed by the people who think the most. The world is changed by the people who finally decide to act. Thank you for watching.